the most fundamental skill to have on your journey to success. And that to me is incremental growth. And let me tell you a little bit about what that means and what this is about. So incremental growth is about incrementally taking step towards creating your best life. So essentially creating that best reality that you want to create and experience for yourself. So right now, maybe you're like in a position where you're living the current reality. You know, you're in this reality, however it looks like for you. It could be that, hey, you know, you're trading all your time for money. You're maybe in an unfulfilling job. You're maybe in a space where, yeah, you know what, you're not thriving. You know, you're just kind of like surviving, and you want more out of life. You want more than that out of life. You want a different reality. You want a reality where you're thriving. You want a reality of freedom. You want a reality where you get to fully express yourself and you're not limited and confined by this current reality that you're into. And the way to do that is by doing the incremental growth changes in order for you to experience this new reality. And the reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of times when we're in this current reality and we want to shift to experience a different reality, we feel like there's this massive gap between where we're at right now and where we want to be. And that gap can be frightening. That gap can be scary at sometimes, and maybe a little bit overwhelming, because it's like, holy shit, like in order for me to live here, I need to like do a lot of changes and a lot of transformation. Or sometimes we overthink things and we think that we need to have all of that done in order for us to experience a new reality, and therefore we just kind of like don't even do it, right? Because we just feel so overwhelmed that our fear takes us over and then keeps us in the same space. And that's why a lot of people kind of repeat the same thing over and over and over again. Like every year they say they're gonna, you know, set up new goals and they're gonna achieve new financial goals or new levels of freedom or new levels of relationships or new levels of health as well too. And yet they keep on repeating the same thing, going back always to the same place and sticking to that same reality. And so the way to break through to that is to have incremental growth, right? So focus on your incremental growth. And what I mean by incremental is like taking one step at a time. So it's like, okay, where I'm at right here, this is where I want to be. This is your vision for the future. And it's like, okay, well, what step can I take right now? Don't worry about the million steps that you need to take to get there, or the 1,000 steps, or sometimes it's just 100 steps. Like, I mean, you know, sometimes we just overthink things again. And that's why I'm saying it's like, it's the incremental steps that's going to take you there. And it's about taking whatever step you can take right now that's going to get you one step closer to that goal. And don't worry about all of the steps as well too, because the thing is that if we try to anticipate all of the steps to get there, chances are all of those steps are going to change along the journey. I mean, I'm saying chances are, I'm pretty sure it's a guarantee, because I was in the beginning of my journey, I was trying to figure out all of the steps in order for me to get to my reality that I wanted to create an experience for myself. And it turned out that all of those steps, I never ended up taking them, or I ended up taking a different step, because I realized that the step that I had set out for myself wasn't going to get me closer there. Because after taking that first step, I realized that, well, okay, this next step that I anticipated to take is not going to get me there. It's actually taking me off track. And so to be able to understand that, okay, all I need to focus on is what step can I take right now in order for me to achieve my goals. So right now, like if let's say you have a goal for living a reality where you get to have the time freedom, financial freedom to travel the world and live a life of adventure. And you want to do this, like, you know, like me, like this is kind of like the reality that, you know, I was visioning and now I get to experience. And so if let's say that's the reality that you want to create for yourself, and you know, this could be applied in all areas of your life. Like this could be applied in, you know, business and how you make money and what you do in order for you to create that lifestyle. But it could be in your relationships, it could be in your health as well too. But let's just use the example of creating that reality of time and financial freedom so that you get to live life on your own terms, and you're doing this with, like, let's say a business or whatever it is, right? So let's say that's the visual, right? That's the outcome, that's the reality you want to experience, that's the reality you want to create, and you're over here, right? Well, what I would ask you to do is ask yourself, what step can you take right now that's going to take you one step closer to that reality, right? What if, like, It could be, hey, I mean, I'm gonna start an online business. Like that's what I did. That's what I ended up doing because that's what a reality I wanted to create. And I chose to go down the path of starting an online business. And initially, like I didn't know where to begin, but I found the solution, which is the SFM, which has been teaching me how to do this and been giving me all of the insights and perspectives and the challenges as well too, to allow me to get there, right? And create that reality for myself. And I attest to my journey to be able to create that because of the SFM. So maybe right now it's to take that step. And I know this might sound like salesy and stuff like that, where I'm kind of like, hey, putting this in there. But it's not. I'm just more like speaking from my own experience, from expressing what is it that helped me achieve my goals, and then you make the decision whether or not that's the choice you want to make and that's the step you want to take right now. But again, it's just to express like just an example of what step can you take towards that goal. And what happens is when you do take action, you start seeing your next step, right? It's kind of like, the vision of the stairs. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but it's kind of like stairs going to the clouds. It's like, it's always like, you don't see the whole thing. You just kind of like see what's the next step and the next step and the next step and the next step. And so incremental growth is going to allow you to achieve that, because what happens is that in your incremental growth, you grow yourself. Like you grow with your knowledge, you grow mentally, you grow physically, you grow spiritually, you grow in your own mindset. Like you're evolving basically, and when you're evolving, and you're evolving by taking those incremental steps to create that reality and be able to experience that reality. So therefore, you're preparing yourself to be able to live that reality, right? And all of those steps, it's going to allow you to kind of like prepare you for the next step every single step of the way. And the other thing as well too, and why it's important to do that, is because going from, like, let's say you're here in this reality, and let's say we would jump you over into this new reality based on where you're at right now with regards to, let's say, your skill sets, let's say your knowledge, let's say your experience, let's say with your mindset, let's say with your like certain perspectives and belief systems that you have right now, going into this totally new reality. It could be a shock, right? Could not be, but it could be a shock, right? It could be like, holy shit, like this is way too much, right? Because you're used to living a certain lifestyle, and all of a sudden you live a totally different lifestyle. It's like a big shock, right? So that's why the most fundamental skill to have is to focus on your incremental growth and enjoying the journey, right? Because it's what the journey that matters, really. It's what the journey that creates that reality. It's not the reality, right? It's the journey that builds that up for you. So essentially, don't build your dreams, let your dreams build you along your journey as you take those incremental steps. So again, ask yourself right now, what step can you take that will take you one step closer to this new reality that you want to experience for yourself? So thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Cheers.